The evening sky grew darker as thick black clouds gathered above the small town. Cold winds pushed through the narrow streets, and people rushed home before the storm began. Daniel, a simple man returning from work, walked along the forest path with a week-old umbrella in his hand. The umbrella had served him for many rainy seasons, but today it was almost useless. Every time the wind blew, it flipped inside out, and every time he fixed it, the shape broke again. Daniel sighed and said softly, "Why today? Why in this weather?" Rain started falling in thin, sharp lines, turning the ground wet and slippery. Daniel tried to hold the umbrella steady, but another strong gust of wind twisted the metal frame completely. The cloth tore a little more, and a piece of the handle loosened. He stopped walking and stared at the broken thing in his hand. With frustration, he shook his head and whispered, "This is not helping anyone." At the edge of the forest stood an old, rusty trash bin. Half covered in moss, Daniel walked to it and tossed the umbrella inside. The metal made a dull sound as it hit the bottom. For a moment, Daniel felt strange, like he had thrown away something more important than he understood. He brushed the thought away and continued walking toward home, with rain falling harder now as he moved deeper along the path. He suddenly heard a sound behind him, a soft, weak cry almost, like a baby, but not fully human. Daniel stopped instantly, water dripping from his hair. He turned slowly, listening carefully. The sound came again, a trembling voice mixed with pain and fear. It did not sound like a normal forest animal. It sounded like something, or someone, trying to stay alive. Daniel took a step back toward the trees, trying to see through the dark leaves, but the storm grew louder, the wind shaking branches and hiding the small sounds. He waited for a moment, his heart beating fast. Maybe it's just an injured animal, he told himself. Yet his chest felt heavy, like something was pulling him toward that cry. A strange worry rose inside him, something he could not explain. But after standing there for a few seconds, the sound stopped completely. The forest became silent except for the rain hitting the ground. Daniel looked around once more, then slowly turned and continued walking home. Still, he could not shake the feeling that something was wrong. Every step he took felt heavier, like the storm itself was trying to tell him something. Meanwhile, hidden deep behind the bushes near the trash bin, an alien mother crouched low to the ground. Her silver-blue skin shivered from the cold rain, and her glowing eyes were full of fear. She held her tiny newborn baby close to her chest. Wrapping her thin arms around it, the baby let out soft cries. Tiny and weak, shaking from the cold, the mother's breathing was rough, her body tired from running and hiding for so long. When Daniel threw the broken umbrella into the trash, she watched silently. Her instincts told her humans were dangerous, but her baby needed shelter. Rainwater fell heavily on the little one, and each drop made the tiny creature shake harder. The alien mother looked at the umbrella, then at her crying baby. Finally, she swallowed her fear and crawled toward the bin. Her hands trembled as she pulled the umbrella out. Struggling to open the bent frame, the umbrella was broken, but it still made a small cover. Enough to block the rain from her baby, she lifted it above the child, her arms shaking as she tried to keep it steady. The baby's crying softened a little, comforted by the sudden protection. The alien mother breathed out a weak sigh of relief. She looked toward the path where Daniel had walked away, wondering if he would return. Her heart feared humans. Yet something about his face was gentle. She whispered, "Please, not today. I just need to keep my baby safe." Far ahead on the path, Daniel stopped walking again. That same strange cry echoed inside his mind, even though the sound was gone. The storm grew louder, lightning flashed across the sky, and something inside him refused to let him walk away. He slowly turned around, staring back into the dark forest with worried eyes. A deep feeling filled his heart, a feeling that someone out there needed him right now. And this time, he could not ignore it. He took a deep breath, stepped off the path, and walked back toward the place where the cry had come from. Unaware that the broken umbrella he had thrown away just minutes ago was now protecting a life he had never imagined. Daniel moved back toward the forest with careful steps, rainwater running down his face like cold fingers tracing his skin. The wind pulled at his clothes, but something even stronger pulled inside his chest. He did not know why he felt this deep fear, yet also a strange responsibility as he reached the trash bin again. Lightning flashed across the sky, revealing something unusual on the wet ground. Footprints, small but not human, were pressed into the mud near the bin. They were shaped like tiny feet with long curved toes, glowing faintly under the rain. Daniel bent down, touching the imprints softly. Feeling warmth beneath the mud, "These are fresh," he whispered. His heartbeat rising like a drum. He looked around, but the forest was dark, moving with shadows and shaking branches. Just then, a soft sound reached him again, a trembling cry. Weaker than before, this time he was sure it was not an animal. It sounded like a mother trying to comfort her child. Desperate and afraid, Daniel stepped deeper into the trees. Each step louder than he wished in the wet soil. He followed the glowing footprints, his eyes searching for any sign of danger or life. The glowing trail spread across the forest floor like a path made of fallen stars. Daniel kept walking, guided by the light. His breath slow and steady. He tried to speak softly, hoping not to scare whoever was hiding. "Hello. I heard someone crying. I just want to help," he called out gently. The forest answered only with the sound of rain falling from the tall branches. But then another sound appeared, a rustling noise. Quick and sharp, it came from behind a cluster of thick bushes. Daniel froze, his legs stiff, his hands shaking slightly from the cold and the unknown. He slowly stepped closer, pushing branches aside one by one. His heart pounded as if warning him of something he had never faced before. Behind the bushes, he saw something move, a small shape shifting in the darkness. At first, he thought it was an injured animal. But then he saw a thin hand pull the broken umbrella closer. The sight made his breath catch, his old umbrella, the one he had thrown away minutes ago, was now held by someone hidden in fear. Daniel didn't step any closer. Instead, he knelt down slowly to show he meant no harm. "Hey, I'm not here to hurt anyone," he said softly. The shadow inside the bushes shifted again, and he heard a soft whimper like a baby trying to cry without strength. He leaned forward just a little, trying to see clearly through the moving leaves. Lightning flashed, and for a brief moment he saw Hertha, alien mother, shivering, holding her baby tightly. Her silver-blue skin glowed faintly under the rain, and her large eyes watched him with terror. She held the broken umbrella above her baby, trying her best to keep the rain away. Daniel froze, shocked but strangely calm. He had never seen anything like her, yet something about the scene broke his heart instantly. A mother, terrified, injured, alone, and shielding her baby with a broken human umbrella. He lifted his hands slowly in the air to show he was harmless. "It's okay. I won't come closer. I just want to help," he whispered. The alien mother tightened her grip on her child, her whole body trembling from cold and fear. Daniel could see she was exhausted, her breathing weak, her legs barely holding her weight. The baby let out a soft cry, too weak to even lift its tiny arms. Daniel spoke again, even softer this time. "I don't know who you are, or where you came from, but your baby is cold. Please let me help." The alien mother shook her head slowly, her eyes filled with fear and confusion. She had seen humans before humans who chased humans who feared her kind. But Daniel's voice did not sound like danger. It sounded like a warm fire in a cold night. The storm grew stronger. Trees bending under the force of the wind, thunder roared across the sky. Making the alien mother flinch and pull her baby closer, Daniel knew he didn't have much time. If they stayed in this freezing rain any longer, the baby would not survive. He reached into his coat and carefully removed his warm scarf without stepping closer. He gently placed it on the ground. "You can take this. It's warm." "It will help your baby," he said, sliding it slowly toward her. The alien mother watched every movement with wide, fearful eyes. She hesitated, then slowly reached out and grabbed the scarf with trembling hands. She wrapped it around her tiny baby, who made a soft sound of comfort. Daniel felt a small relief in his chest for the first time. The alien mother looked directly into his eyes. Her voice was barely a whisper, broken and fragile. "Why? Human, help me," she asked. Daniel swallowed, unable to explain the feeling inside him. "Because you need help." "And because no one should be alone in a storm," he replied. The alien mother blinked, confused but calmer than before. Her fear slowly changed into something else, not trust yet, but hope, and that hope made Daniel take one slow step forward. Careful, gentle, ready to help her again, unaware that this moment was only the beginning of something far greater than he imagined. Daniel stood still in the rain, his hands raised gently, trying to show he meant no harm. The alien mother watched him with sharp, fearful eyes. Her body curled around her baby like a shield made of trembling arms. The broken umbrella shook above them, weak against the storm, but still she held it tightly, refusing to let even one more drop touch her child. Lightning flashed again, brighter this time, and for one long second the forest lit up like daylight. In that single moment, Daniel saw her clearly, the shape of her face, the texture of her skin, the glow in her eyes. She was unlike anything he had ever seen, yet everything about her spoke one truth louder than fear. She was a mother trying to save her baby. Her skin was pale blue, marked with thin silver lines that pulsed faintly like veins of light under her surface. Her hair was short and soft, almost like delicate feathers. Wet and sticking to her forehead, her eyes were wide and bright, but filled with exhaustion and pain that she was trying to hide. Daniel felt his fear melt away and turn into worry. He didn't know her world, her language, or her history, but he understood her struggle in a way that crossed all boundaries. A mother protecting her child was something universal. The baby in her arms let out another weak cry, and she hushed it softly in a language Daniel couldn't understand. But the emotion behind her whisper was clear love, fear and desperation all wrapped together. Daniel knelt down slowly so he was not towering over her. Rain soaked through his clothes. But he didn't care. He spoke in a soft tone. "You don't have to be afraid. I want to help you," he said. The alien mother shook her head quickly. Hugging her baby closer, her voice was faint, rough, filled with fear as she whispered, "Humans. Dangerous. No trust." No trust. Daniel felt a sting in his heart. He wondered what she had seen, what she had suffered. What kind of humans had made her believe there was no kindness left in this world? He kept his voice calm, gentle like talking to a scared child or a wounded bird. "I'm not like them. Your baby is cold. Let me help," he said. A loud thunderclap made her flinch violently. The baby whimpered, and the mother quickly covered its tiny body with the scarf Daniel had given her. The broken umbrella bent again under the violent wind, almost snapping in half. The alien mother struggled to hold it up, her thin arms shaking hard. Daniel saw she had injury-steep scratches on her arms, bruises on her legs, and one side of her body was turning a darker shade of blue. She was hurt, weak, and barely standing. He slowly removed his jacket and placed it gently on the ground between them. "You can take this too. Keep your baby warm. Please," he said. The alien mother stared at the jacket like it was something strange and unfamiliar. She hesitated for a long moment, then carefully reached out with one trembling hand and pulled it toward her. She wrapped it around her baby, tightening it gently. The tiny creature relaxed a little under the warmth, its glowing eyes half closing in comfort. When she looked up again, her expression had changed. The fear was still there. But something new had appeared, confusion mixed with hope. She whispered, "Why? Help, alien." "You human," Daniel's breath caught for a moment. He didn't know how to explain the strange feeling inside him. He only knew something deep inside his heart refused to walk away from a mother and child in danger. He answered honestly, "Because you need help, and no one deserves to suffer alone." The alien mother stared at him as if trying to understand a language with no words. Her eyes softened just a little. Like a thin crack forming in a wall she had built around her trust, but her body suddenly wobbled, and she collapsed to her knees, holding her baby tightly. Daniel reached forward instinctively, but stopped himself. "Not wanting to scare her? You're hurt. You can't stay out here." "The storm will get worse," he said. The alien mother breathed heavily, her chest rising and falling in uneven waves. She tried to stand again, but fell back against a tree trunk. The baby let out a fragile cry, sensing its mother's pain. Daniel felt every part of him tighten with fear. He needed to act fast before it was too late. He spoke softly again, more urgent this time. "Let me take you somewhere warm, please. Your baby is not safe here." The alien mother closed her eyes, her grip tightening around her child. She had run for so long, fought for so long, feared for so long, but she had no strength left. And her baby was growing weaker every minute. Her glowing eyes opened slowly. Meeting Daniel's gaze with a mixture of fear and surrender, she whispered only one word. Shaking from cold and exhaustion, "Help." Daniel felt his heart drop. This was the moment everything changed. He nodded slowly. "I will. I promise," he said, rising to his feet as the storm raged louder around them. As he stepped toward her for the first time, the broken umbrella between them fluttered weakly. The same umbrella he had thrown away minutes earlier. Now it had become a fragile bridge between two worlds, and a symbol of a connection he never expected to make. Daniel took one careful step toward her, the muddy ground sinking slightly under his shoes. The alien mother looked up with tired, glowing eyes, still unsure, still afraid. But no longer able to protect herself or her baby alone, rainwater hit her skin like cold needles, and her arms trembled so hard that the broken umbrella shook beside her head. Daniel could see clearly now that she was losing strength fast. Her breaths came in short, sharp gasps, and her legs were shaking like they could collapse at any moment. He knelt down again, keeping a safe distance so she would not panic. His voice stayed soft but filled with urgency. "You can't stay here. It's too dangerous," he said. Thunder rolled across the sky, making the forest shiver as if nature itself agreed with him. The alien mother tried to stand again, but pain shot through her leg and she fell back with a weak cry. Daniel noticed deep bruises and cuts along her side, some glowing faintly as if reacting to the cold rain. Her injuries were serious. She must have been running for a long time, hunted or chased by something far worse than the storm. The baby whimpered weakly in her arms, tiny fingers gripping the scarf Daniel had given. The mother closed her eyes, pressing her forehead against the baby's small head, whispering in her alien tongue. It was a desperate, fragile whisper, the voice of someone who feared she might lose her child. Daniel felt his heart twist painfully at the sight. He tried speaking again, slowly, so she understood every word. "My house is close, warm, safe. I can help," he said. The alien mother's eyes snapped open in fear. She shook her head quickly, hugging her baby tighter. No. No house. Humans see. Humans take. Humans hurt, she whispered. Her voice full of terror. Daniel swallowed hard, realizing she must have experienced cruelty before. Something had taught her that humans could not be trusted. He wished he could erase whatever memory had given her that fear, but he had only words. And words were small against wounds carved deep in someone's past. Still, he tried again, gentler than before. I live alone. No one will see. You and your baby will be safe, I promise. She looked confused, her eyes darting between Daniel and the dark forest behind her. Her body was torn between fear and the need to save her child. Daniel could see the battle in her trembling hands. Lightning flashed again, and in the sudden bright light, Daniel saw something he hadn't noticed before. A deep cut ran along her leg, glowing blue beneath a skinsome alien wound that reacted dangerously to the cold. Rainwater entered the wound, making her cry out in pain. She clutched her baby tighter, her body curling over it protectively. Daniel lowered his voice even more. What happens if you stay here? He asked softly. She didn't answer with words, her eyes said everything. If she stayed, her wound would worsen, and her baby. Her baby might not survive the freezing storm. Her lips trembled as she tried to form human words. My baby. Too cold, no warmth, no shelter. He die, she whispered, each word breaking a little more inside her. She looked down at her tiny child, who was barely moving now. Her arms tightened around the baby, and a tear-bright silver, glowing faintly fell down her cheek. Daniel felt something heavy settle inside him. He couldn't walk away, not now, not ever. He moved one step closer, slow enough for her to stop him if she wanted. But she didn't. She only watched him, her breath shaking, her fear slowly being overtaken by despair. He placed his hand gently on his chest. Trust me. Let me help your baby, he said softly. The alien mother stared at him for a long, silent moment. Her breathing slowed. Her eyes softened but still shimmered with fear. Finally, she spoke in a broken whisper that carried the weight of a mother's love. Help. Please, help my baby. Daniel nodded with relief. He extended his arms slightly, waiting, giving her time. The alien mother hesitated, then slowly loosened her grip and allowed him to touch the edge of the jacket wrapped around her child. She was not giving him full trust, but she was giving him a chance, and that chance meant everything. She tried to stand with his help, but her injured leg buckled. Daniel moved quickly and offered his arm. This time, she didn't pull away. She leaned against him, trembling, her weight light but unsteady. Come on. We need to move before the storm gets worse, Daniel said gently. She nodded weakly. Holding her baby close while Daniel supported her carefully, they stepped out of the bushes together, the broken umbrella dragging behind them like a fragile symbol of their fragile bond. The path ahead was dark, wet, and cold, but for the first time that night, the alien mother was not facing it alone. Daniel guided the alien mother through the forest path, his arms steady around her back. Her steps were slow and painful, each one shaking her thin frame. She held her baby close, keeping the jacket tight around the small body. Rain poured on them like endless cold needles, but they kept moving. The storm roared above them, but Daniel stayed alert, watching every shadow, every sound. Finally, the trees opened and his small wooden house appeared at the edge of the clearing. A warm yellow light glowed through the window, shining softly like hope in the darkness. The alien mother stopped walking when she saw the house. Fear returned to her eyes as she held her baby tighter. Human place. Dangerous. Someone see, she whispered, her voice shaking. Daniel shook his head gently. No one will see. I live alone. You are safe, he said. She looked uncertain, her breathing quickening as fear battled against her weakness. Daniel took a small step forward, still supporting her weight. You can trust me. Just for tonight. Your baby needs warmth, he added softly. Her eyes moved from the house to her tiny child, whose glowing skin was dimming from cold. She swallowed hard, then slowly nodded. Daniel opened the front door carefully, letting warm air flow out toward them. The alien mother flinched at the strange wave of heat, her eyes widening in surprise. For her, everything human was unfamiliar, frightening, but also full of unknown possibilities. Daniel stepped inside first, turning on more lights. The room was simpler, small couch, a table, a heater humming softly. He moved aside to give her space. She stepped over the threshold slowly, her body trembling, her eyes scanning every corner. Her fingers tightened around her baby as if walls could suddenly attack. But nothing happened. The warmth wrapped around her like a gentle blanket. She took a shaky breath, feeling heat touch her skin for the first time in hours. Her baby moved a little, letting out a soft sound of comfort. The alien mother's eyes softened, a tiny moment of relief washing over her face. Daniel closed the door carefully. You're safe. Sit here, he said. Guiding her to the couch, she moved slowly, unsure if she should trust the furniture. Her glowing eyes widened as she touched the soft cushion, surprised by how warm and gentle it felt. She lowered herself onto it, cradling her baby with both arms. Daniel knelt in front of the small heater and turned it higher. Warm air filled the room, and steam began rising from both their wet clothes. He placed a clean towel on the table and gently pushed it toward her. You can use this to dry your baby, he said. She looked at the towel like it was some unknown tool, then carefully touched it. Its softness surprised her, and she slowly used it to wrap her child. Daniel watched her movements, slow, loving, careful. Every touch showed how deeply she cared for her child. He brought a cup of warm water and placed it beside her. You can drink this. It's safe, he said. She leaned forward slightly, sniffing the water like a cautious animal. After a long hesitation, she took a tiny sip. Her eyes softened again, recognizing warmth and comfort she had not felt in days. Daniel sat on the floor a few steps away so he wouldn't scare her. He spoke gently. You're hurt. Your leg, your side. You need rest. The alien mother looked down at her injuries, her breathing rough. My ship. Crash, enemies chase. Baby too small. I hide, she whispered weakly. Daniel's heart tightened. She had been running for her child's life, not her own. What about your people? He asked softly. She shook her head slowly, tears building in her bright eyes. No signal. No contact. I alone, she whispered. The baby made a soft noise, and she lowered her face, touching her forehead gently to the tiny head. Daniel watched with deep emotion. Her love was strong enough to cross worlds. He wanted to help more, but he didn't know how to reach her beyond words. So he did the only thing he could. He spoke honestly. You're not alone now. I'm here. I will help you, he said. The alien mother looked up slowly, her eyes reflecting the warm light of the room. Daniel could see her fear melting just a little, replaced by something fragile and new. Hope, she whispered softly, almost like she didn't believe her own words. You? Good human. Daniel shook his head, smiling gently. I'm just trying to do the right thing, he said. He stood and went to the kitchen, preparing warm food. The alien mother watched him with cautious curiosity. Every sound, every movement in his home was new and strange to her, but none of it felt dangerous anymore. When Daniel returned with food and placed it on the table, she hesitated. He pushed it closer. You need strength. Please eat, he said. Slowly, she accepted a spoonful, her eyes widening at the warm taste for the first time since he found her. A tiny, tired smile formed on her lips. Her baby sighed softly in her arms, warm and safe at last. And Daniel realized that tonight, two worlds had taken their first small step toward trust. The warmth inside the small house wrapped around the alien mother like a soft blanket for the first time since her crash. Her body relaxed a little. Her baby slept quietly in her arms. Wrapped in Daniel's scarf and jacket, Daniel watched them from a distance, relieved to see the child breathing steadily again. But something in his chest still felt uneasy. A quiet warning he could not explain. Outside, the storm began to calm. But the night grew darker. The wind softened. Yet an uncomfortable stillness settled over the forest. Daniel stood near the window, staring out at the shadows moving between the trees. He didn't know why, but the silence outside felt wrong. Too empty, too controlled, like something dangerous was approaching. Hidden beneath the dark sky, the alien mother lifted her head slowly. Sensing the same tension, her glowing eyes narrowed, and her body stiffened as she held her baby closer. She whispered in a fearful voice, "Something. Coming, enemies. Maybe humans. Maybe hunters." Daniel turned sharply, his heart tightening. "What do you mean? Who could be coming?" he asked. She shook her head, trembling. "When ship crash. Signal break. But some enemies still follow," she whispered. "Maybe human. Maybe other kind." All dangerous. Daniel felt cold, even though the heater was warm. If someone dangerous was searching the crash site, they might already be close. He moved toward the window again, looking into the darkness for any sign, and then he saw distant flashes of white light cutting between the trees. Not lightning, not random movement, but organized beams, searchlights. His blood turned cold. Someone was out there. Scanning the forest, inch by inch, the alien mother gasped softly. Clutching her baby tightly, "They find me. They find baby. Please. Hide," she whispered, her fear rising like a wave. Daniel shut off the lights quickly. The room fell into darkness, lit only by the faint glow of the baby's skin. He whispered urgently, "Stay down. Follow me. We need to hide." The alien mother struggled to stand. Her injured leg shaking, Daniel supported her, guiding her quietly through the dim room. Outside, the searchlights grew brighter, sweeping across the clearing. Voices echoed in the distance, firm, loud, human. Daniel recognized the tone. Authorities, search teams, possibly the government. Someone must have spotted the crash site and reported it. And now they were closing in. He led the alien mother toward the back of the house. The wooden floor creaked softly under their feet. She flinched at every sound, terrified her baby would be taken from her. "Don't worry. I won't let them harm you," Daniel whispered. His voice shook, not from fear of the authorities, but from the weight of responsibility he now carried. They reached the back door. Daniel opened it slowly, letting in the cold night air. The forest behind the house was dark, but it was their only escape. He stepped out first, checking both sides. The searchlights were moving closer from the front. They still had a chance, but not for long. He helped her down the small steps. Supporting her as she limped, they moved behind the shed. Trying to stay hidden in the shadows, the baby whimpered softly, and the alien mother pressed her lips gently against its head. "My little star. Please quiet," she whispered suddenly. A bright light swept across the front yard. Voices shouted orders. "Check the area." The crash was close. Look for movement. Daniel felt his heart jump. They were too close now. He whispered urgently, "This way. We must hide in the old shed." The shed stood behind the house, old and worn, but strong enough to keep them hidden. Daniel opened the door slowly, praying it wouldn't creak loudly. The alien mother slipped inside, holding her baby protectively. Daniel entered after her and closed the door, leaving only a tiny crack to see outside. Footsteps approached, heavy and determined. Crushing wet leaves under boots, Daniel held his breath, watching shadows move past the shed wall. The alien mother crouched low, her body curled over her baby. Her glowing eyes were wide with fear, reflecting the faint light from outside. Voices came closer. "Tracks lead this way," one man said. "There's a house here." "Someone might be hiding something," another replied. Daniel swallowed hard, fear rising like ice through his body. If they opened the shed door, everything would be over. A hand grabbed the shed handle from outside. The metal rattled loudly. The alien mother gasped silently, holding her baby tight enough to tremble. Daniel stepped in front of her quickly, blocking her with his body. He whispered only one promise: "I'm right here. I will protect you." The door handle began to turn slowly. Light leaked through the edges of the door. Footsteps stopped right outside. Daniel felt his heartbeat thunder in his ears as he prepared himself. This moment would decide everything. Their future, their survival, their fragile trust. All balanced on the edge of a single breath. The shed door shook as the hand outside tightened its grip on the handle. Daniel stood perfectly still, blocking the alien mother and her baby with his body. His heart pounded like a drum, loud enough that he feared the agents outside could hear it. The alien mother crouched behind him, trembling. Her baby pressed tightly against her chest. Every second felt heavier than the last. Stretching into long moments of fear and silence, the handle turned a little, then stopped. A voice outside spoke sharply. "Nothing here." "Check the house again," another man replied. "Copy that." "Move." Footsteps slowly faded, their shadows sliding across the shed walls like slow-moving ghosts in the dark. Daniel waited several seconds before breathing again. He let his shoulders drop slightly, relief and fear mixing inside him like two tides crashing together. He turned to the alien mother, whispering softly, "It's okay." "They didn't see us." She looked up at him with wide glowing eyes filled with both gratitude and fear. Her lips trembled as she whispered, "You protect us." "Why?" Daniel didn't know how to explain the feeling inside him. He simply shook his head and said, "Because you deserve safety. And because your baby deserves a chance to live." The alien mother looked down at her child, her fingers brushing softly over its tiny glowing cheek. For a moment, her eyes shone with a deep emotion, something she had not allowed herself to feel in days. Hope, but outside, the danger was not gone. Searchlights still moved through the forest, now sweeping closer to the back area of the house. Daniel knew they couldn't stay hiding here for long. He looked through the small crack in the shed wall, watching the beams moving like slow predators searching for prey. He whispered quickly, "We need another way. We can't hide here forever." The alien mother nodded weakly. Her breathing was rough now, her injuries worsening under stress and exhaustion. But before Daniel could say anything else, a sudden soft hum filled the air, a low vibrating tone. Strange and familiar at the same time, the alien mother gasped, her eyes widening in recognition. "Signal, ship here." "Rescue coming," she whispered, her voice shaking with hope and fear. Daniel stepped outside the shed carefully. He looked up to the sky, and for a moment, everything was silent. Then he saw a faint blue light breaking through the clouds, growing brighter and brighter. A small rescue craft descended silently from the night sky like a falling star. Its glow stronger than the searchlights below, yet somehow invisible to the agents. It moved with quiet precision, controlled, searching for the alien mother's signal. The alien mother hugged her baby close, tears filling her eyes. "My people. They find me," she whispered. Daniel helped her out of the shed, supporting her trembling body. The ship hovered above the trees, creating a soft wind that pushed leaves in slow circles around them. A hatch opened underneath. releasing a beam of gentle light that reached the ground like a ladder made of moonlight. She stared at the light, overwhelmed by relief and fear. But as she looked at her baby and then at Daniel, her expression changed. There was sorrow in her glowing eyes. A mother grateful but uncertain. A friend ready to leave but unwilling to forget, she turned toward him. "You. Save me. Save my baby." "Why human help alien?" she whispered softly. Daniel smiled a little, though his heart felt heavy, because kindness doesn't need to know what world you come from, he said gently. Her breathing trembled, emotion shaking through her like a quiet storm. She stepped forward, raising one hand toward his chest. A gesture from her world, a sign of deep respect and eternal gratitude. "You good human. Brave human." "My family remember you," she whispered, her voice soft like a fading star. She reached into the jacket and uncovered a small object wrapped beside her baby. A piece of metal. Shaped like a tiny crystal, she pressed it into Daniel's hand. "Gift. Memory. Connection between worlds," she whispered. The baby looked at Daniel with faint glowing eyes and let out a tiny sound. Daniel smiled gently and whispered, "Stay safe." Little one, the alien mother stepped into the beam of light. Holding her baby close, the rescue craft lifted them slowly into the sky. The light wrapped around them, brighter with every second. Daniel watched as she placed her hand over her heart, her final goodbye. And then she disappeared into the ship, the hatch closed. And the craft rose silently into the clouds. No sound, no trace. Only the faint shimmer of light fading into the stormy sky. The searchlights continued scanning below, unaware that the ones they hunted were already gone. Daniel stood alone in the clearing, the crystal still warm in his hand. He looked up at the sky one last time. A soft smile touched his face. A simple broken umbrella had changed to lives and connected to worlds forever.